chance at Bristol City. Volley!
Oh, he's done it.
As well as got the finish. Here goes Bell. It's a brilliant run from Sam Bell all the way. Ruthless stuff for Bristol City.
Wednesday night lights in BS3 for more Sky Bet Championship action, and match days feel a little bit different at the moment. The excitement is palpable in anticipation for the next fortnight. Bristol City looking to take their unbeaten tally into double figures against lowly Wigan Athletic tonight. Dogged determination, fighting spirit and a sprinkle of attacking flair saw the Robins over the line on Saturday against the Canaries. Can they keep up this fine vein of form? Joining me in the studio this evening, is former Sunderland footballer, Bristol City legend as well, and now famed for his crazy, exciting commentary moments as well on BBC Radio Bristol. We're delighted to have him alongside us this evening. It's Mr. Gary Hours. Gary, you must be loving following Bristol City at the moment.
I am. It's very exciting, as you've already said, Toby, and I'm really excited, I must say, to see the team that Nigel Pearson's picked this evening. The three front players, two players making the full home debuts, Mehmeti and Harry Cornick, and Andres Weimann coming back into the fold. He's swapped the front three. The lads that are left out will be really unfortunate, but I think it's going to get the crowd on the edge of the seats.
And what do you put this rich vein of form that Bristol City are in now down to? Of course, we covered the West Brom game on Boxing Day. Wasn't a good afternoon whatsoever, but ever since then it's just, I don't know, there just seems to be a change and the mood is lifted in camp as well.
It's momentum. I mean, they dug in, they got the two draws, didn't they, at Millwall and then at Coventry. I think that the cup game changed it for me. The performance in the first half against Swansea, Nigel didn't have any other option other than to change the formation, and he done it, and they went 4-3-3, and they've never looked back. And then players are playing with confidence and belief, and you get on this run. The crowd have joined in again; they're enjoying it. So lots and lots of positives.
And do you think there's something in the fact that he made the squad a lot leaner in January? Some players left, and there's that togetherness now in that the players can kind of look at each other and think, look, it's us together now as a group until the end of the season. And the younger players who maybe a bit hit miss, Sam Bell, for example, is now getting the opportunities he warrants. Yeah,
well, Sam's been part of the resurgence, coming in and scoring his goals. The bench looks a lot stronger, experienced players coming back into the fold. And I think he's loyal anyway. I think that the squad is always tight because he doesn't make loads of changes. He'll change one or two, and if you're playing well and consistent, you know that you'll keep the shirt. But now, because of the new signings, real competition, that can only be a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Gary. It sounds as though we're going to hear or see some of the new signings in the team tonight. Here with all of that is our lead commentator for this evening. It's Mr. Ron Walker.
Thanks very much, Toby. Looking forward to this one as City, as you mentioned, look to keep up their strong record in 2023. We've got the first run through of the teams for you now, starting with the visitors tonight, Wigan Athletic, a new look team with a new look manager, Sean Maloney, in charge of his third game this evening. Looking like they might line up in a 3-4-3 with Ben Amos in goal, a back three of Ryan Nyambe, Jack Watmore and Charlie Hughes. Across the midfield, Darikwa, Tiahi, Power and McLean. And then Sinani and Asgard behind Ashley Fletcher. Two changes there, Asgard and Fletcher, the two to come in. Those two changes in attack, and it's the same for Bristol City. Three new faces in the home side this evening, and all of them at the attacking end of the pitch too. We'll start in goal though. Max O'Leary keeping his place. And then a back four of George Tanner, Zach Viner, Rob Atkinson and Cam Pring. Bit of a special day for Joe Williams in midfield, who made 40 appearances for Wigan before his 2020 move across to Bristol City. He's joined in that midfield by Alex Scott and Matty James. And then in attack, as mentioned, Andy Wyman wearing the captain's armband this evening. He has 2 in his last 3 against the Latics, but flanked either side, making their first starts, Harry Cornick and Anis Mehmeti. now over to hear from Nigel Pearson with Robins TV.
Start with team news. 3 changes tonight. A new front three. Cornick, Mehmeti and Vyman. Talk us through your selection.
Well, 2 of the lads the 2 wide 2 have not recovered really enough from their very high stats from the weekend. Naki, it's a sensible thing for him. He's 30s and we want him ready for the weekend. So tonight's the most important game, but I think it's also important to make sure that we can play the way that we need to play in terms of our physical ability. So I don't want players pacing themselves. I want players that are absolutely flat out, and so it gives us an opportunity to freshen up. And whoever we would have started with tonight, I think there's a case for the others coming in at some point. So don't discount the fact that at some point tonight you might be looking at a different front three finishing.
In terms of what you've seen from Harry and Anis, you obviously know Andy Vyman, known quantity. Yeah. Are you very confident they'll fit into the system we want?
Well, yeah, I mean, when Harry went on at the weekend, we all of a sudden started pressing probably about 10, 15, even 20 yards higher up the pitch when he came on. Anis is somebody who is a good ball carrier. He's a dribbler. He's good at running with the ball. He can also receive it in behind. So if they do sit a bit deeper tonight, we've got different options. Andy, we all know what Andy's about. Andy can do anything. Andy will give us options in behind, but he'll also do the work that we need as a team. So, look, that apart, I don't have any. If we'd have gone unchanged, I'd have been really happy. One change, I'd have been happy. But even when we make 3 changes, I'm really satisfied that we have a really good team out there that will should have enough to win the game if we do things right.
You talked about winning in different ways, yeah. Potentially winning ugly. What kind of game do you envisage tonight?
Well, I think we have to be prepared to solve different problems. So in other words, they may make life more difficult for us in terms of being harder to break down. If that's the case, fine. Our job is always at home to take the game to our opponents, and whether that be top of the table or teams who are fighting for points, it doesn't really matter. We have a really good opportunity to go 11th tonight, and that's something which is a big incentive for us too. So it's all there for us to play for.
All the best.
Cheers.
We will get Gary's view on the team news shortly, but from one Gary to another, we have a very special guest pitch side. Over to you, Chris.
Hi, thank you very much, Toby. Yes, I'm here pitch side with former Bristol City boss Gary Johnson. Hi, Gary. Thank you very much for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
So it's a pleasure to see that you are the latest inductee into the Bristol City Supporters Club Hall of Fame. How does that feel?
Very honoured, very honoured. I've just had Nigel. I've just had a great reception up there from the Supporters Club and from Nigel just then, which is nice. And it was, I had a little bit of a lump in my throat. I tried to make a speech, but I half did it. But it was a great, best reception I've ever had here. So, and I'm very proud to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Fantastic, and it's an honour that you really have a warm feeling about, you know what I mean?
Well, you were the manager here for practically 4.5 years, obviously some brilliant memories. So how does it feel now being back here at Ashton Gate just before the action gets going?
I always enjoy coming back to Ashton Gate. You know, obviously I watched Lee's tenure when he was here as manager, and so I was here quite often. I was here for our playoff final, which we won really, but the geezers in black didn't help us out. But that was our final instead of it being at Wembley. So for me, it was like a little Wembley. You know, unfortunately we got beat on penalties and 2 dodgy decisions cost us. But I'm enjoying my time at Torquay, as I've enjoyed my time everywhere. But you know, I've always had that I still live in Bristol, still live in Portishead, so it's always a club that's close to my family's heart. You know, myself, my wife, obviously Lee, and so it's always nice to pop back and remind yourself the great times that we had here.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and it'd be rude not to having you here, not to gain your insight. Obviously, a big game this evening. Bristol City, based on the last 5 form, top 4 in the league. How do you see tonight unfolding?
Well, I think they've had to work hard to get their form going, but now it is going. Now you should be able to keep that at that standard now. And I do watch the games. I certainly watch all the highlights of the games. And you know, I wish Nigel well. He's had a bit of a rough patch, but all Bristol City managers seem to have good patches and bad patches for whatever reason. What they call it, streaky or whatever. But I'm pleased to say they look like they've got it sorted out now, and you know, there should be 3 points on the board. However, there's no easy games, is there, anywhere in any league? Certainly not the Championship.
Well, Gary, congratulations once again. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Enjoy your evening. We'll see you again soon. Back to you, Toby, in the studio.
Thank you very much, Chris. Lovely to see Gary Johnson and in good humour as well, and lovely to have him in the Hall of Fame, and fond memories on the whole of his time at Ashton Gate.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I never actually played under Gary, but I just went down into the Legends Lounge and sat beside him for 10 minutes and had a chat with him. Obviously, he followed me into Torquay job, and he's always been someone that he's picked the phone up to us whenever I've rang him. Lovely man, and I know that he is really honoured to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and it's usually footballers, isn't it? But it shows you how well he's thought of when it's a manager.
Lovely that you said he was choked up there. Obviously means an awful lot to him. Just looking ahead to tonight and the team news, we heard that from Ron prior to the interview there, and with Nigel Pearson. 3 changes for Bristol City. What have you made of the new boys, Cornick and Mehmeti? We've not seen them in huge amounts, and largely they've come on in situations where we've had to defend. Yeah,
and they're just given licence to go and get on with it, aren't they, this evening? Them front 3 and really solid. Same players behind them, same back 4 holding midfielders, and supported by Alex Scott, who's in great form. But Mehmeti really impressed me in the cup game at Wycombe. I think he's a really talented player. I think he's going to be a player that excites the crowd. Give him the ball, and he's got dribbling skills, and if he can dribble as well and stay on the ball, that'll allow him Cam Pring to get past him and for overlapping runs. Cornick is a little bit more central. He's quite good in the air, I think, and he'll stretch teams. A little bit awkward customer environment, we all know, playing in an advanced role will make them runs from deep, and let's hope he can get back on the score sheet. And a display of confidence from Nigel Pearson as well, given that he's prepared to throw them in from the off, and we're looking to continue this unbeaten and run as well. They're obviously impressing a great deal in training. Well, let's be honest, that's what he bought them for. If you're buying players into the squad and you're selling them the club, they're not coming here to sit on the bench. They want an opportunity to show everyone what they can do. But it's just interested to hear Nigel speak about the workload that some of his players have reached, and obviously there is a time during a season when you do need a rest, so hopefully he's picked the right moment, and this unbeaten run will continue with another victory. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're always strapped for time to an extent prior to kick-off. What have you made of Bristol City defensively? A big clean sheet on Saturday, but that back 4, as it's now become, they were fighting for everything on Saturday. It's so improved. I mean, I look, and they're all young lads, really. Even Max is probably hasn't hit 25 or just 25. George Tanner's come in and he's improved week in, week out. Zach's been a revelation. Obviously had a good pre-season, changing Nigel Pearson's thoughts. Rob Atkinson has been out the team and had a bit of a kick up the backside, but he's responded really well. And Cam Pring is Cam Pring, who I think he's been excellent all season and really is a talented left back. Absolutely warranted man of the match on Saturday. Thank you very much, Gary. Right, we'll be hearing from one of the men that's been instrumental in Bristol City's fine run, Max O'Leary, after this short break.
Might not wanna get close. We a little wild war, covered in tattoos, running it up, taking all the views. Stepping on place, feeling the fear. I know you feeling it in the air. Whole squad wearing all black. Motivation's looking real bad. We back to the bone. Raising a fire alone. We ain't never needed nobody. Give me 6 feet, this is my party. Ain't got no feelings, we heartless. Take a peek inside the darkness. Blow up the spot, then we run it. Ready or not, here we coming.
So we've got all this outdoor space here, and it's perfect for companies to come in, whether they're small or large. So we cater for maybe a team of 12 or a team of 800. They can come here, have a really positive experience and be rewarded for all their hard work in the office or whatever industry they're from.
As we've got such a big company, a lot of us don't see each other.
Being able for the first time to get everyone out together in one place doing an activity together was great for team bonding and boosting that morale.
We can hone in on specific skills such as communication, leadership, teamwork, resilience. Here we've got a 400-metre military assault course, which is fantastic for team building. If you want a morale booster, this is the place to come.
Welcome back to Robins TV. Just under 15 minutes to go until kick-off between Bristol City and Wigan Athletic. I mentioned before the break, one man that has been instrumental in Bristol City's upturn in form is Max O'Leary. 4 clean sheets now for the season following that victory over Norwich at the weekend. And we thought we'd catch up with him in more comfortable surroundings.
Well, Max, we've chosen a lovely setting here in Bristol. Bristol, of course, you're home for such a long time now, but has Bristol felt as much like home as it does right now in your career?
Yeah, no, it's obviously a great spot here and it feels like home, and I'm not from far down the road, so yeah, to call this my home now is it's lovely, and I love living here, and it's a great place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're talking to you because it feels like this is now Max O'Leary's time. You've taken on not perhaps the actual #1 jersey just yet, but it feels like you are Bristol City's #1 now. So how does that feel when somebody says that to you?
Yeah, no, obviously it's good. It's been a long journey and something I've had to be patient with, but yeah, I'm happy at the moment. I'm happy with how my football's going and life away from football. So yeah, it's a good time and just enjoying it.
Yeah, it has been a long time coming. You've been understudy to likes of Frank Fielding and more recently, obviously, Dan Bentley. Bentley obviously has left us now in January. Did he have anything to say? Did you speak to him before he left for Wolverhampton Wanderers?
Yeah, he popped back in and saw us. Obviously, you hear just before it's going to happen. So yeah, we got to see him, and he popped back in and spoke to us and saw the boys, which is nice. So it was good to catch up with him, and best of luck to him. Obviously, it's a great move in the Premier League, and hopefully he gets his chance there.
So speaking of mentors, we've obviously covered the current crop, but the mentors way earlier in your life. Let's go way back. I mean, when you first started picking up a football and thinking, actually, I quite like being a goalkeeper. Who was a mentor to you then?
Well, my dad played a bit when he was younger, so I guess he was probably the one who got me kicking a football around the house and smashing glasses. So I can remember a few Christmases where I've broke stuff and caused a few arguments. But yeah, so I would always be playing with him around the house, and as I got older, that that helped a bit more. He was trying to coach a bit, and which was good. He wasn't too forward with it, but yeah, it was nice to have someone who cared about the game and wasn't too pushy, and just wanted me to have fun. And obviously that's where that came from.
That is the key as well, isn't it? When you're first picking up a football, it's got to be fun.
Yeah,
that's so important. You're part of, obviously, we'll get on to the group that you're in now, of the academy players coming through, but the relationship you have with Zach, I'd love to get your thoughts on this, because you and Zach have known each other a very, very long time now. You went to school together?
Yeah, we went to school from year 9 through to year 11, so obviously we've known each other a long time. I knew him a bit before that as well, when I was at different schools, so you know all the ones who were good at football, and he was one of them, so I think I've ended up playing against him and playing with him a few times. But no, we get on really well, and it's good to know that I've got someone here that I can confide in or trust, that I've known for so long. Yeah, we spend a lot of time with each other, and yeah, it's the same as it was back in the day as it is now.
Sun's out, cricket weather, I feel. Well,
well, not quite yet.
Because, well, not quite, it's still February, but the sun is out at least. I'd love to talk to you about cricket as well, because just let us into a little bit of insight here of how close you were. Some say that you could have played either. How close were you to being potentially a cricketer instead?
Yeah, well, I like to play all sports. Like, even now I'm interested in everything. I watch a bit of golf on TV. I love watching rugby. A few of my mates still play rugby, so I'll go and watch them when I can. But yeah, cricket was the main other one really for me. And yeah, I was at Somerset until I was 14, I think, 14, 15, maybe a little bit older, I'm not sure. Really enjoyed it. Obviously, it was great to have that experience, and the crossover in sport can sometimes help you. Yeah, it was close in the end. It was flip of a coin what you wanted to go for, and of course it's a bit of a gamble of what you want to do. But I enjoyed playing football, and the club really showed that commitment to me, and obviously I felt that was the path that I wanted to take, and yeah, haven't looked back.
Oh, to be as talented as you are, Max. The choice of 2 top-level sports.
No, it's
right, let's take a walk, and
yeah.
We'll talk about something else.
Cool.
There you go, Dan with Max O'Leary there. You can catch part 2 of that interview for the Sunderland game in the pre-match show on Saturday. And Gary, a player you know very well, obviously Josh is coming through the academy as well. Max has followed a similar path, but a real display of confidence from Nigel Pearson, basically in January, saying you're our #1 man with Dan Bentley moving on. Yeah, I mean, he's a lovely lad, lovely family. Spent a bit of time with me on loan at Bath City. I can't believe he never mentioned us. I taught him everything he knows and didn't even get a mention. But yeah, that's in part 2. He's earned it. He's earned it, and that's very grounded. Yeah. And I'm sure he's got the blinkers on, and there's still plenty of room for improvement, but he's doing really well. He seems to be one of those really likeable footballers, but he's also visibly become very vocal on the pitch as well. I think maybe something he's learnt from Dan Bentley, and that he's quite happy to remind defenders when they're not carrying out their roles correctly. Yeah, I think that comes with confidence. If you're in and out the team, you're a little bit hesitant, I would say, and when you're surrounded by senior players, and you've got to pick your moments. But as that confidence grows and you get them appearances under your belt, then if you've got anything to say, then you say it, and he certainly is. Yeah, and he's being well shielded at the moment by that back 4. And we mentioned Cam Pring and George Tanner and their role in this team at the moment. Pring was man of the match on Saturday. Just how impressive have they been? And they're getting through some serious mileage at the moment, because we were playing a back 5, of course. Yeah, they're all impressive, and when you start keeping clean sheets, of course, especially someone like Saturday playing against Pookie, that's a really good signing, and you've just got to keep it going. That they're young, they're going to get better, they're getting more experience, and they'll really be enjoying this run, I can tell you. But it'll be tough this evening, and if you can get through this evening, hopefully with 3 points, and then get anything at the weekend at Sunderland, and building up, and keep the momentum going, and heading into the cup game against Man City, it's going to be great. Yeah, absolutely. You see Harry Cornick, among others, warming up there outside. If I could push you for a bit of a score prediction tonight, Gary? Well, you've got to fancy that City in the current form should win the game, but new manager, 2 results, he's had a draw and a victory. They'll come here, they're going to make it really, really difficult,
and City will have to be patient, but I still think they've got enough in the lockout with these three front players to open up the door and get some goals and win.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Gary, right, it's time for us to say goodbye to you that are watching on Facebook and YouTube.